Hello students, I'm Dr. Moyuk Mukherjee, Assistant Professor in the Department of Pharmacology, RG Kar Medical College, Kolkata. In this presentation, I would like to discuss management of stable angina pectoris. In stable angina pectoris, there is usually narrowing of epicardial coronary artery by atheromatous plaque, and this narrowing is of such extent that at first blood supply is usually not hampered. But whenever there is increased demand, as in case of exercise, the blood supply to the affected part fails to rise along with increased demand. So the patient develops chest pain, and the pain is again relieved by taking rest. Coronary artery disease is a lifestyle disease, and whenever we come across a patient suffering from stable angina, we must keep it in our mind the patient might be suffering from several other diseases as well, like hypertension, anemia, thyrotoxicosis, which all lead to increased myocardial oxygen demand, thereby precipitating chest pain. Even acute emotional stress can precipitate a chest pain, and we should treat this patient in a comprehensive manner. This includes pharmacological modalities as well as non-pharmacological approach. Among non-pharmacological approaches, stoppage of smoking is of utmost importance. We ask the patient to lose some weight and maintain a low-fat, high-fiber diet. Hypertension and dyslipidemia should be corrected. To prevent further cardiovascular accidents, daily administration of aspirin and statin is very important. We should avoid exposure to sympathomimetic agents. Those are present in nasal decongestants, and to treat migraine we must also consider that patients suffering from angina pectoris should not be given sumatriptan or similar drugs that precipitate chest pain. Nitrates are very good drug in terminating chest pain in patients suffering from stable angina. They dilate epicardial blood vessels. Short-acting nitrates are used for standby therapy. Glyceryl trinitrate nasal spray is very good in terminating attack very rapidly because they act within 1 to 2 minutes, and the action is usually undetectable within 1 hour after administration. Isosorbide dinitrate, though it takes a little longer, 3 to 4 minutes to start its action, but it acts for a longer duration, more than 1 hour compared to glyceryl trinitrate. Acting nitrates can be administered prophylactically to avoid chest pain before doing physical exercise, but smallest effective dose should be used. A very important point is that even after administration of 3 doses of glyceryl trinitrate over a period of 15 minutes, if it fails to relieve chest pain completely, then we must seek further medical attention, because this may be a case of unstable angina or myocardial infarction. If the patient is having frequent attack of stable angina pectoris, we must offer them revascularization therapy. But till that time, longer acting nitrates can be administered. But longer acting nitrates has no prognostic benefit and can induce tolerance and endothelial dysfunction. This is why beta blockers are preferred in these patients. Longer acting nitrates can be added on beta blockers. Sustained release preparations of isosorbide dinitrates and mononitrates are typically administered in the morning and in the afternoon so that patient can get a nitrate-free interval at night. It helps proper function of the next dose of nitrate given in the next morning. Now coming to therapeutic strategy. What can be our first line treatment in patients suffering from stable angina pectoris? We must provide them a fast acting and short acting nitrovasodilator like glyceryl trinitrate or isosorbide dinitrate given sublingually to terminate an attack of stable angina pectoris. But other than this, at least one other drug must be given for relief of angina pain. Beta blockers are first choice here. Where beta blockers are contraindicated, calcium channel blockers with heart rate lowering effect like verapamil and diltiazem can be administered. If the patient is also having left ventricular dysfunction or diabetes, ACE inhibitors are chosen. To prevent cardiovascular event, we must provide aspirin and a statin. So, in first line of treatment, the following drugs are given. First and short-acting nitrovasodilator, beta blocker. If beta blocker is contraindicated, then verapamil or diltiazem. If the patient is suffering from left ventricular dysfunction or diabetes, ACE inhibitor can be chosen, and statin and aspirin must be given to prevent further cardiovascular events. If the attack is frequent or the symptom is not adequately controlled by first line of treatment, then we need to look for second line drugs. Longer acting nitrates are administered here, as I mentioned previously. Ranolazine or other drugs like ivabradine, trimetazidine and nicorandil can also be administered. Ranolazine and trimetazidine have an advantage that it has minimal hemodynamic effect, so they can be combined with other anti-anginal drugs where permitted. Second line management of stable angina pectoris, beta blockers and nitrates are frequently combined. This combination has several advantages, like beta blocker can increase coronary vascular resistance, which can be countered by nitrates. Again, nitrate can cause peripheral pooling of blood, thereby baroreceptor mediated reflex tachycardia, which itself can increase chest pain. But beta blockers prevent this reflex baroreceptor mediated tachycardia. Again, if beta blockers used individually, it can increase end diastolic volume. This problem is countered by nitrates. So this combination has several advantages in managing chronic stable angina pectoris patient. This chart is taken from Goodman-Gilman's textbook of pharmacology, and it summarizes the management of stable angina pectoris patients. Here we can see that all patients suffering from stable angina pectoris must be provided with short-acting nitrates to terminate an attack. And we must also inform patients about lifestyle modification and control of risk factors in this stage, like management of hypertension, treatment of diabetes mellitus or dyslipidemia. First line treatment includes beta blockers, and where beta blockers are contraindicated, heart rate lowering calcium channel blockers like verapamil or diltiazem can be added. If the symptom is not adequately controlled, along with beta blockers, long-acting dihydropyridines can be given. For vasospastic angina, which is also known as Prinzmetal angina, beta blockers are contraindicated. Here we need to administer only long-acting dihydropyridines. To prevent a cardiovascular event, aspirin and statins are administered, and the patient, if suffering from diabetes mellitus or ventricular dysfunction, ACE inhibitors and ARBs has to be considered here. In the second line of management, long-acting nitrates are administered over and above the existing treatment. Nicorandil, ranolazine, trimetazidine or ivabradine can be added. If the patient is not tolerating aspirin, we can consider clopidogrel. Again, patients who are having frequent episodes of stable angina, we must ask them to undergo invasive therapy like angiography and stenting or coronary artery bypass grafting. Thank you for your patient hearing.